Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. On tonight's verses, we have Compass Box Peat Monster coming in at a 46% ABV, no wage statement, versus Compass Box Peat Monster Cask Strength Origin Story coming in at a 56.7% ABV, no wage statement. So Compass Box is actually one of my favorite bottlings. They do such a scientific method on blending, and they are very transparent about it, which is something that we love here on the channel. When you can go to their website and they'll give you a physical breakdown of where they're sourcing it, the cask types used, and it's this big pie chart of mad science going on, and I love it. So Compass Box Peat Monster was actually my first introduction to what Compass Box can do, and it's a beautiful bottle. But here in 2023, this one released as a origin story to what Compass Box, kind of their anniversary for Peat Monster. Originally, there's a whole story behind it, and they ended up doing a bottling for a place here in the United States, and it blew up. Everybody loved it, so they kind of made it what it is today. Now, these are two different bottlings because they were blended with two different types of mad science going on. So you can actually look, I'll try to put pictures of them up here, but the links will be down in the description area so you can actually see the breakdown, because there's quite a percentage of unique things in both bottles. But the big question here today is the cask strength version of this one worth the hunt, or is this one just as good? And especially being that they are two different things, we can't quite compare it apples to apples, but we're going to do the best we can. So let's go ahead and hop into things. As always, we'll talk about color, go into notes, and then wrap on upon taste and the market pricing section. So let's get into things. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit. If you're interested in some Compass Box, some of their other offerings, links to their videos will be up above and down below, so you can check those out. This one has not been posted live yet, but it was a great bottle. I was able to share some with my wife, and she loves Compass Box. She's a big, while she is the Lafroid person in the family, she's a huge Compass Box fan too. And I just love their bottle shapes. There's something elegant about them. Honestly, they're very close. The cask strength is slightly darker, but not by a whole bunch. I mean, it is just a few shades darker, but very, very close. All right, let's go for notes on the standard Peat Monster. Oh, gosh, that is great. Smoky iodine, that like wet asphalt on a hot day, but briny. And there's a little liveliness of a fruitiness in there too. A little sweet. There's a sweetness in there. Beautiful, almost apple-like or pear. But that smoky, earthy, peaty. Beautiful. No ABV, nothing harsh, no off notes. But the oiliness on that nose, ugh. And obviously, it's called Peat Monster. If you didn't expect those things, I don't know what you're expecting. But beautiful light fruit notes in there, kind of lifted up a little bit. Beautiful. Okay, let's go for notes on the cask strength version. Actually, they are very similar. This one's a little fruitier. So this one is heftier. It's got a little more weight to it. That cask strength to it brings in a little heft there. Still getting the salty, the earthy, the briny, all those kind of things just amalgamate together, but they're very tightly compacted on the nose. Surprisingly, though it's cask strength, there's no ABV, there's nothing harsh, no off notes. You get a little bit of oak on this one. Just a little bit. It's not heavy-handed in the oak notes. But this one, like if you were to be blindfolded, this one smells like very classic Islay, just smoky, earthy, salty. Here, it smells more like a well-aged peated scotch. It's just got a little more heft to it, little darker notes going on, but very similar on the notes. Very similar. If anything, you'd say maybe this was like a non-age statement version of a scotch, and then this one's probably like a 10 or a 12-year-old scotch. Just got that big, well-rounded nose to it. All right, let's go for taste on the standard Compass Box. Yeah. Wet asphalt on a hot day. Oily. And it's swelling. Saltiness. Almost so salty it almost stings a little bit. Beautiful earth layer in there as well. With a little crisp splash of citrus. But definitely, this one has all the characters you want in a smoky peated scotch. Coats the palate really well for 46%. Just well-rounded on that. But the salty, the earthy, the peaty really is a kick in the teeth for only being 46%. There's a bit of spice in there as well that holds on to your palate. It kind of digs its teeth into you a little bit more and doesn't want to let go. But all the characteristics on this scream Peat Monster. Just everything on the bottle to the taste to the name just really resonates why you call this Peat Monster. It is a peaty, smoky bomb, but not really ashy. And I do appreciate they don't go actually into the ashy territory. Not that I have anything against one that does, but it definitely stands out on its own with that just beautiful wet asphalt, almost like a Lefroy does. It's got that beautiful wet asphalt smokiness to it. However, the Lefroy tends to go more into the iodine notes for me, which I love, but that's a good sip. Here in the finish, it does go a little more thin than you would have hoped. And I think it's because it's 46% and probably a little bit younger as well. So it doesn't have quite the longevity in that finish, but still a really good sip, especially for its price range. All right, let's head over to the Compass Box Cask Strength version. Now, I might be a little flavor blind just because we're going back-to-back smoky scotches, so understand that does happen. Just, it's the nature of the beast. But for science, let's go for a taste. It has such a more developed palate. It's not as clawing as the standard Peat Monster, but salty, earthy, briny. And surprisingly, the oak layers here really are showcased, to my opinion, a lot better. It's not quite as the hot asphalt on a rainy day that this one is bringing, but it's bringing out more wood and spice characteristics. And the finish on it is very much a night and day difference comparatively to the standard one. It just keeps riding out. Just beautiful peated and smoke. And it actually doesn't go too clawing into that saltiness, which is a little surprising. I would have thought that would have came with the cask strength part of it being even more potent, but it must be something with the blend itself, because here it's just beautiful light saltiness and definitely goes more into the sea spray or like ocean quality to it versus like salt, just salt lick burning your tongue. They are very similar. You can tell they're of a family. There's a lot of similarities when it comes to the steps this one goes through. You get that salted, earthy, peated, and then that bit of asphalt on a rainy day. This one, it goes iodine, salted, but more sea spray, not so much of that hot asphalt. But definitely, if I was blindfolded, I would definitely think that this was a younger version of a core lineup, and this was an age-stated version. Similar, but still very much a different, great example of two different whiskeys in the same wheelhouse that brings across beautiful flavors. Both of these are not for the faint of heart. If you're not into scotches or peated elements, you may not like these. However, I always recommend Compass Box, no matter what the lineup is. Compass Box is one of my favorite brands again, and this is why. Because while they are two different beasts, the profiles they're bringing are gorgeously done. So let's pick a winner here, and honestly, it's a hard one to pick. In my market, I can usually find Peat Monster, the standard edition, for right around $60 to less than $70. Heck, last time I checked, like Flavyard.com has it for about $57. This one's going for about $110 in my market, about $110 to $120, somewhere in that price range. And to be honest, it's a really good sip. However, is it worth the hunt? And when you're almost doubling this pricing, I still give this one so much credit for being in a beautiful price point, but bringing across such gorgeously done flavors. No criticism to this because this is a beautiful bottle, but I'm going to have to give it to the standard Compass box when it comes to price per flavor. Now, if you get the option to buy this in that $100-ish price range, about the $110 to $120, get it. It's worth it every day. But again, if you can't find this or it's overly priced, stick with standard Peat Monster. It is such a great sip. So to kind of put a bow on things, honestly, if you can't find the cask strength version of this, though it is a great bottle, crack this one open, pour yourself a glass of it, and enjoy it because it's going to be just as good of a ride, in my opinion. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Compass Box Peat Monster versus Compass Box Peat Monster Cask Strength Origin Story. If you have questions about either bottle, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific bottles I should put up against each other, also let me know down below. I love doing these kind of AB reviews and kind of have some fun with it, help you at home, and helps me learn as well. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
Up until day before yesterday, it was like 60% rain, showers all time, by a half. You know, and I even like it might not.